No, you slid over too far, bro. You got to move back. The zoom in cam ain't going to work, brother.
Man, I don't know what to tell
You so worried about being all cose to the wall. You and your meaty elbows.
room, he's by himself.
Yeah, how you need elbow room alone? This ain't the morning breeze, you son of a breeze nation. What's good? It's your boy Panther Designer back at it again. As always on a Friday morning, we got the squad in the building. Yeah. As always, super producer Joel Ho, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, Mr. Drew Better. If you knew better, you do better. Say who better? Nobody, bro. Hey, man, we got a lot to get into on today's show. Rookie minicamp cracking off today. I will be at Rookie minicamp.
Ow!
I'm excited. I'm not going to lie to you. You know who I'm waiting to see. I'm a big Manungai. Can't wait to see Kyle Manungai. Yes. We got to talk about the Bears signing some of these guys as well. There's one name that is interestingly left off of the list, and we'll talk about that as well. And the Panthers trade is officially done. Let's have a conversation finally, boys. Did the Bears win the trade? And I'll bring in the caveat of Bryce Young looks pretty freaking good. How he finished that season? He's
improved.
Bryce looked a little dangerous.
He's improved.
I'll take Caleb.
We'll get to it when we get there.
I'm just saying.
When we get there.
Just call it a teaser, Pat.
No, that's not a teaser. He told him
He's a little premature.
He's a little premature. All that more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I guess technically this is the morning breeze for when we drop it, but that's too many graphics to change.
Speaking of that, you know what to do.
You know what to do.
Sue Young.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Sue Young.
Oh, God. That was
bro.
epic. That will always go down.
The double Sue Youngs was crazy.
That was too funny.
I couldn't believe that. Like, what everybody, and I went back and watched it. You know what the best part is? I went back and watched it, and I could see on my face, I didn't believe you when you said I did it.
Bro.
I was like, I don't think we did it a second time. I could see on my face, like, I don't believe you.
The chat convinced me because I was like, wait, was it two? Somebody said it. I was like, yeah, he did it. He did it.
How y'all feeling, boys? Everybody good?
Yeah, man.
Having a good time?
Feeling
Yeah, feeling good? Feeling great?
Friday Eve, going on Friday,
Yeah,
weekend.
little
Weekend
Friday,
is
little
almost
weekend.
I feel like there's a turning of the tide.
Turning of the tide.
Oh, it's supposed to be 80 next week, so yes,
Oh,
sir.
no, don't tell me that.
Why?
Yes.
I like it. I'm a 70s guy.
No.
I can see that.
I'm a 75 guy.
No, I'm an 80 and above.
I can see that.
80 and above.
I feel like a beanie in the heat is not a good move.
I'm sorry.
Are you Meg Griffin? Like the real
Meg
life version
Griffin
of
is
Meg
crazy.
Griffin? Like when does that hat come off?
I told you, man. I told you before the show. He is out of beast.
Compared me to dang Meg Griffin.
No, he's not
get
Meg.
a
No, he's not
haircut
Meg. He's out of beast.
I have a haircut. It's just I like wearing beanies. Where's my beanie gang out there? Shout out to the beanie gang
In the summer?
Chicago.
Beanie gang in the summer?
You know how many Wyans are always wearing hoodies during the summer?
He's that phrase of Tim's all season for blank kicking reasons.
Yeah, I get.
You never know what a man
season.
creating, growing up on seasons. Yeah, that's what he is. He's one of
Beanies
those
all
guys.
season for beatable reasons. Let's talk a little bit of Chicago Bears here, boys. As minicamp is getting started, and I think this is going to be a fun minicamp. This is going to be one of the ones. Now, I'm not going to say one of the ones we've got our eyes on more because last year we had Caleb Williams, we had Roma Dunze. We're locked, right? Your number one overall pick. You got Roma Dunze in there. We're locked in on rookie minicamp. But this year, we do get the opportunity to see some really, really exciting players. What do we want to see from Ben Johnson's first rookie minicamp? For me, it starts with Ben Johnson. How does he run practice? This is his first time as a head coach running his own practices, running a rookie minicamp. Remember, first time around, I believe this is where it started for Flus when the fine came in of like, hey, y'all doing a little too much now. Or the warning, I should say. The warning came in, and then the fine came in. So I'm very intrigued to see how Ben Johnson is going to run his first practice.
I'm with you on that, but I also want to see the connection with Caleb Williams. I want to see the quarterback and see how he kind of meshes together with these new pieces, and then also kind of gets more acclimated with DJ Moore. You know, I need to see that connection grow. So really, it's about the growth of the quarterback along with Ben Johnson.
Well, but Caleb's not going to be there.
No, it's rookie minicamp.
Oh my goodness! Why am I thinking that Caleb's going to be there?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, if
Caleb's a year two guy right now. That was
that's working.
Alcohol.
Yeah, we're Friday.
Never
anyway,
trust a
I'll
guy
take
in a
that back. So yeah, it'll be Ben Johnson. I'm also looking for it.
Skibbity whoop out there.
Give it back.
Run that back one more time. What is fast forward sound like for you?
Oh, she ding dang ding dang. I don't know.
That felt racist. I can't make a single joke.
Never
that I
trust the
wanted
guy in
to
a
make.
beanie, I tell you. And if he drives a Cadillac
beanie.
too, don't
Yeah,
trust
don't trust the Cadillac in a beanie.
Anyway, no. So you say that, Coach. Okay, so I'm going to go with Colston Loveland. I want to see these couple of these first picks really kind of get acclimated and kind of get used to his system. Colston is a guy who I think will really stand out, and we'll see how he's implemented into his game.
Yeah, I feel like it's more about is he going to be organized? Does he have the structure in place? It reminds me of how, like, when you went to see the practices, for example, and you could see how it wasn't. There was either the tempo wasn't right.
I hated hearing me get on the show.
It was
after a
like,
practice.
like these dudes. You were here like, nah, that line doesn't work. Like, I'm hoping that these guys are showing actual promise and that it's not a lot of gaslighting, so to speak. So, I mean, if like, for example, with Luther Burden, the other guy we want to see is like Manungai, for example. Does he, is Ben Johnson able to show something where we're going to see something with this scheme that gives you promise and that these guys can actually contribute on the field?
Drew, what you got?
I'm looking to see how they digest the playbook, how he kind of like breaks it down, because rookie's gonna have to learn a playbook that's very differently from college. So how he breaks it down in incremental parts so they can grasp it, so they can be ready when the whole team hits camp. So they are prepared to, not be behind everybody else.
No, that's big. Honestly, I think that's a massive thing too, and I think that does go into kind of how Ben Johnson runs his camp, because, I mean, we all saw the clip at this point, right? Of who was the quarterback? Who was the dude there? Jackson Dart. We all saw the clip of Jackson Dart with Gruden, right?
Oh,
The-
like the
You
whole
talking about
With the snap count?
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
snap count?
I just clapped.
How he gets a play in?
Yeah.
Clap.
right.
Yeah.
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 That's
What
not
else?
gonna work in the
hey,
NFL.
That's it.
hey, this is great in the strip club, not on the football field.
Yeah, that's not gonna work
You know
in
what
the
I mean?
NFL.
Like,
This generation is going further and further away from the way the game's supposed to be played.
that's nuts after that comment, Joe. That was insane. I might have took it too far. I'm
Hey,
not gonna lie to
hey,
you.
he was on point with that one.
He was on point. He was on point. No, but I do think that's going to be a part of it, right? Because even a guy like, listen, I don't know if you guys saw the report today about Luther Burden, some of the question marks about his practice habits,
Oh, boy.
and how, from what I've seen, now I talked to his wide receiver coach. He refutes all of these things. So these are different sources speaking on different things. But one of the sources close to the situation, right, was basically said that Luther Burden was somebody who didn't give 100% in practice, but was very willing to give 100% when it got time to be on the football field. And is that going to be an issue right away? Listen, I think being in the NFL, you got to be a god to not give 100%. Now, there's some gods. There are some gods that exist in this league, right? Hearing Warren Sapp talk about his preparation for games is mind-blowing when you see what Warren Sapp actually did.
You ate a Philly steak sandwich every
Bro, like Philly. Well, no, the basically the he wasn't as worried about it. It didn't matter. I'm getting some extra help anyway. You know what I mean? A little.
right.
Well, you know what I mean?
But it depends on your talent level. I mean,
Well, and
Warren-
that's what I'm saying, right? There are some gods that you don't need that with, but hearing that about Luther Burden in college, is that going to be something that shows his head at an NFL level? And we can say no, we can shake our heads, no, I'm not worried about that, and maybe I'm not. I think Luther Burden's the kind of talent that could speak to, I don't need as much practice as some of these other guys. But how's that going to sit in a locker room? How's that going to work out with the guys that are actually showing up there and trying to work hard? If that is the case. Now, again, like I said, I spoke with his wide receiver coach. His wide receiver coach refuted everything that Steve Smith said, refuted everything that is the negative on this young man, and basically said, I'll give you a story about Luther Burden in moments where he wasn't the focal point. He was the one running down the sideline, cheering on his teammates for blocking to open things up in the run game. So I think that makes a difference.
It sounds like Caleb Williams from last year. He was a bag. He's
Yeah.
this.
All
He's
the
a prima donna.
criticisms.
He's a that. He's a that. And everything
is
was
wide
refuted.
receiver that different of a position? That's the
I
question.
think it's character of a
Wide
person.
receiver's always been a diva, though.
Yeah.
You wide receiver's always been a diva.
position.
But
Always.
it's-
No, literally the article that I saw, that's how it ended. It was like, but he's also a wide receiver.
But his quarterback, like the whole thing is that it's someone. refuting information or saying these things. And
Yeah.
so, one, the tape won't lie. And then they'll talk to the people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
One guy on TV, he might get some misleading information. You never know. There are people who are jealous. They hate on people for some reason.
That
Caleb
could be
had
true.
so much of that. But what was funny was even with Caleb, before the draft, the scouting combine. Remember, he's all these things, and he got there and said, "Hey, how's it going?" He hit him with a smile. He disarmed them because they all came in with this negative, this negative perception of him.
Yeah.
And he came when you watched him, it was like, oh man, they just talking. So even with Luther, like, let the man stand there.
This is the Caleb Williams.
This is not the Caleb you are looking for.
Oh, this is not the Caleb we're looking for. He's totally not the Caleb we're looking for at all.
No, but I only reason I asked that, right, is quarterback that different from wide receiver, where Luther Burden is, let's be real. With what we saw, even in a down season, you can see why it was a down season. Bad quarterback play, injury-prone quarterback, and you had another wide receiver on the roster that stepped up in that moment as well. So now they're sharing catches, right?
Yeah.
So the season's going to look a little different than when you're just the focal point and you get a 1,200-yard season. You can see with this young man that he should have been a first-round talent.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that isn't something that didn't happen that scouts were concerned about. What I am going to say is quarterback and wide receiver that different. I do think quarterback is more important, but to where the amount of teams that took pieces in the first round were kind of like, that's an interesting pick, and they need wide receivers, would let Luther Burden fall to the second round if there weren't issues. I think more people will treat wide receiver like quarterback, where he's got some issues, but he goes up and catches that football.
Well, the funny thing is that you've heard also that there's been a lot of people that just talk about these GMs. A lot of them don't know what they're doing. A lot of them don't. They may not do the background check that they need to do. Some of them could be lackadaisical. Some of them have probably pretty, prominent or competent scouting teams.
Yeah.
You never know. So it might just be misinformation. It's the same thing even with the Shador stuff. How much of that is true versus, people saying stuff behind him, behind his back. So Luther Burden, for him to fall to the second round, it could also be like Jalen Johnson, first round talent.
Only thing with the Shador stuff that make me think that is, did you see Tomlin press conference?
No, I did not yet.
What?
They basically asked him about Shador, and he was like, "Great kid, loved him, loved the meeting." All right, what'd you see? Was there anything there that was off-putting? We're gonna keep. We have meetings and people are different, and that's why you have the feeling out process. And I was like, I've never seen Mike Tomlin give football talk.
Wow.
So
he just kept to the script.
Hey, bro, Mike Tomlin is the one who told Chase Claypool, "You need to stay in line," in a press conference to the media. Chase needed to close his mouth and focus on catching the football.
Sidebar: I saw a funny, jacked up post of how many malcontent receivers that the Steelers have had.
Ooh.
I mean, it was the
It's
guy.
a lot.
It's like 5 of them.
That's a lot.
Hey, but their scouting department on wide receivers is phenomenal.
Hey,
Yeah,
they all can play.
They all
they
can play, but they're
play.
gone.
They all head cases. At
Yeah,
times,
it's
so-
like-
But honestly, a lot of wide receivers, they are divas, and that's why they're like one of the.
No,
But dude, they have a
This is a little
line.
further than Diva.
It was Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
It was like Martavius Bryant. I
Yep,
think it was
yep,
Martavius
yep.
Bryant, Antonio Brown,
George Pickens.
Pickens,
Plaxico
and
gotta be like
Place
shot himself.
Claypool.
Claypool,
Plaxico
Deontay.
shot himself.
Deontay
Dang, it
was-
goes
was
back
able
further
to-
than that.
Yep.
You said,
Nah, Plaxico
Deontay.
shooting himself was different.
I know, but he was in the Giants. It was by accident. But
Yeah,
it's
that was
just funny.
Oh, I thought he was with the.
No, he's on the
he was with the
Giants.
Giants.
He's on,
He was on the
no,
Giants.
but he was. But
Was
he,
he
had,
He
with
was
Steelers?
drafted by
Okay,
the
I thought so.
Steelers though.
Okay.
But he shot himself with the Giants.
With
We
the
saying.
Giants.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah.
But either way, the whole
Watch
point
your
is
leg.
that I don't believe anything anybody says until Burton gets out there and he either shows some good tape,
Yeah.
and then you can see him for himself. I'd like to hear him speak versus someone else speaking for him and then setting this narrative that may not be true.
That was my point too. Is even if there is just a little bit of a reality to this, there's some truth to this. We don't mind wide receivers being divas at the end of the day if they perform. You got some of the best in the league, some of the best in history that have been divas. Wide receiver is a very show me, spotlighty type of position. You get the spectacular catches, you get the celebrations in the end zone. The Ocho Cincos. We know that kind of comes with the territory. The only problem I have is if Luther Burden already from the outset is saying, "Hey, I'm not practicing because I can just do this on the field." No, okay. keep quiet, keep your head down, put in the work, show us that you can do it on the field, and then maybe we'll say, okay, practices doesn't have to go that hard. Now, I don't think Ben Johnson will ever say that because that's the type of mentality he's trying to grow. But let's just keep in mind the other person that kind of has that same mentality at cornerback, Tariq Stevenson, who isn't the same as Jalen Johnson. He has the potential to be a Jalen Johnson, right?
I love Tariq.
And yet, Tariq Stevenson still goes out there. Well, he has the talent level to kind of
not in coverage. Not in coverage.
Not in coverage. You don't
think? He's not that good.
Tackling, I think he will.
He is a. Now they could grow it. He could grow in coverage, right? He could be a grower, not a shower immediately. I'll take that for what you want. All right, but Tyreek and I mean, we seen him on number ones. Yeah. Right. Usually when Nico Collins got off, who was guarding him?
Nico burned him.
Yeah. I would say when Justin Jefferson was getting off, who was he on?
Tariq.
Yeah. Tyreek Stevenson will be elite versus number twos because he's probably a 1.5.
I see what you're saying.
I would say this.
He's a mix. Yeah. Okay.
The whole thing is you don't set yourself up for failure. It's kind of like the old Reggie Jackson back in the day where he's like, I'm bringing my star to New York, which was a bar, by the way.
It's a bar.
The whole thing is that if you don't perform and you start to set.
You better back it up.
You better back it up because otherwise they're going to pull that chair from you real quick. So I just hope that that's really not the case and that he's not like, Ricky get that in the third quarter. Luther going to get the catches. But I want my
Ricky had that by half.
Luther going to get 200 yards today. What I want.
If y'all don't know the Ricky Henderson story, go look up stories about Ricky Henderson. They are amazing because they're always like that. Shoot, 66 steals get you the
Ricky get that in by the first half.
Ricky get that by All-Star break.
But what I'm saying is that I want my receivers because that whole diva mentality is really about ultimate confidence. True. The whole point is throw me the ball. I can do it. From Keyshawn to T.O. to Chad, Ocho, to all these guys. Brandon Marshall we had here. If you're not wanting to have confidence to say I'm the guy, I don't really want you to be here. That's what it means to be a receiver. One-on-one matchup, I beat my guy, I was open, throw me the ball, I'm going to go get it. Yeah. So I want him to have that.
Yeah, listen,
I think, you want your receiver to have that diva mentality, but you also he needs to have the mindset that he is a rookie coming in and there's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Right.
So he needs to he can be open, he can have that diva, but he has to put it in a bag and save it for the second half of the season after you done learned.
By the way, we don't know if he's a diva.
We don't
know if he's a diva.
That's what I'm saying. We don't.
You know what I mean?
But if he is, just be a dog.
Name one wide receiver that's not a diva.
DJ Moore.
He's still a diva.
Yeah, he was pouting.
Not really. He's pouting. He's pouting.
He was
pouting a lot
last
year.
Guy.
He was pouting. He was pouting.
First off, I've said this a lot. It's DJ face.
Yeah, I seen
DJ look like that in the locker room.
Okay.
It's DJ's face.
I haven't seen him in the locker room.
Roma Dunze.
I'll take it.
Now, Roma Dunze's dad is a little bit of a diva.
Let's go roll
Roma
downhill.
Dunze's dad was upset that his son wasn't getting that ball.
And they say they runs downhill.
Yeah, so Roma Dunze never said anything about any of that last season. Now, again, came in with the right mindset. Could be different down the road. But I think there's a lot of receivers that aren't diva. Larry Fitzgerald wasn't a diva.
No.
One of the greatest of all time.
He was solid.
There are great receivers that aren't divas.
Those are outliers.
Jerry Rice wasn't a diva.
No, I'm saying those are like few and far between. You got a gang of diva wide receivers.
I say it's 50-50
versus
I say 50-50.
I say the great ones. I say the great ones is 70-30.
I would push back on that.
Really?
I would say more times than not, the top guys that talk the most are divas. But more times than not in the league, you're not dealing with divas. Think about when T.O. was in the league, right? Who were the divas in the league? T.O., Chad, Randy wasn't a diva?
Randy was a diva.
Randy was a diva?
Randy was a diva. Randy was a diva.
Okay, Randy.
I mean, now you're making me jog my memory back then.
Boston was okay, in the league right now, because we saying there's a ton of divas. In the league right now, who are the divas? A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Reading the book.
A.J. Brown, I would say Pickens.
Definitely Pickens.
I would say Pickens. Who
is the Dallas guy?
What, Dallas?
Oh, no. CeeDee not a diva.
CeeDee,
not really. I don't really see him as a diva.
Who wasn't a diva?
No.
Who's
What I
guy
will say,
that the Raiders?
CeeDee tell the truth.
No, who's the
CeeDee
guy?
be like, hey, I catch the ball, throw it to me. Like, it's just me right now.
Is Diggs a diva?
Stephon Diggs may have a little diva.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy that's quiet that was drafted by the Raiders and then he went to Dallas and now he plays for like Cleveland.
About Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper.
I don't think he's
Cooper's
a diva.
I don't
He's not a
think
He's always
diva.
been quiet.
Right, I don't
and
think
just
he's a
does his
diva.
thing now.
But y'all see what we said. We
I
got.
think it's 50-50.
No,
No, 'cause
but you
got-
said
got-
50-50.
got-
We
right,
got
you got,
three guys right now.
No, you got old boy Chase. Chase is a little bit of diva.
Oh, Claypool.
Chase who?
He
Chase.
he
Jamar
divaed
Chase
himself
Claypool?
out.
Oh, Jamar
Jamar
Chase. Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
And Chase Claypool.
and
Chase Claypool is
and
definitely
old
a
boy
diva.
Justin Jefferson, he's a diva.
That's who I was
He's
thinking.
number one.
We giving Jettas a diva?
I don't
Jefferson
know. I
a
don't know if Justin's a diva.
I don't know if
Just-
Jettas
I
is a
haven't seen
diva.
him do a lot though with that. I don't see him like
Because
throwing
they
people
give
under
him
the
the
bus. Like,
GD ball,
give
as
me
they
the
say.
ball.
Give me the GD
no.
ball.
Who's the giant? DK Metcalf. Is he a diva?
Yeah.
DK
Yeah, I
got a
think
little
he is.
diva to him.
He
Not
became
much.
one
Not
as
much.
of late.
Not
Well,
much.
to me, the difference is
But see, I think-
how much issue they are impacting the team. To me, it's like, so if you impacting the team negatively, then I say you a diva. But if it's working, then you're not gonna be
See,
sending it back.
that's the tough part, right, for me when we have the diva conversation, right? If we talking about divas, right? Divas saying, "Give me the ball."
It's putting
To
yourself
me,
above
that's
the
you saying,
team.
"I'm putting myself above the team. You need to get me the ball because I need the ball, not because we need the ball to win." For Justin Jefferson to say, "Get me the ball." Yeah, get him the ball. He should never not have the ball in his hands. He's that guy.
Right.
Who else you throw it to? Jordan Addison? Cool. But not Justin Jefferson? Insane. Now, Justin get the ball a lot, right? Like, I think there's a difference in, like, A.J. Brown. I give A.J. Brown the diva card because A.J. Brown was upset that he wasn't getting the ball.
The whole point
When
is
the
not-
team was dominating.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation. And so to get back on a Bears point, right? If the Bears are rolling and Luther Burden sitting there, he's like, they're not getting me the ball enough. That's a different situation to be
Luther
in.
need the ball.
Yeah.
Luther need ball.
Calm yourself.
But I don't even know if that's the conversation that we're having right now with Luther Burden. I think that this is now the comments that come out right before rookie minicamp where everybody's going to ask about this and the coach is not going to answer the question. And this is like, okay, well, do you feel like Luther Burden's a diva? If he's good enough to be a diva, we in a good spot. You know who every Bears fan, one of every Bears fan's favorite wide receivers is? Brandon Marshall.
That's true.
Brandon Marshall was a diva. You want to know why? Because we didn't win games if we didn't throw him the ball.
One of the
And he
biggest,
wanted, but he wanted to win, and so he would speak out about trying to do stuff. But they just the
He
defense.
was throwing us under, but he threw Jay under the bus.
He did to a degree.
He
but
threw Jay under the bus. He was like, Jay, how you doing,
but
brother?
Jay
Good to
wasn't.
see
He
you."
wasn't wrong.
Ah. And that's the other thing too, right? Is it about right and wrong, or is it about the betterment of the
Well, it's
team?
about
That's
politics.
the question.
It's learning
that's
how
the
to
question.
politic.
Yeah, that's the question.
So who's our next guy that we want to talk about on?
I love a good Kyle Manungai. But no, we got to talk about the fact that we got some guys signed in this
No,
building.
we got a Manungai.
Oh, do we want to do a you got a Manungai picture.
Manungai.
Oh, yeah, listen. I am dying to see what Kyle Manungai can actually do. Now, again, this is rookie minicamp. It's not going to be a full offense. This is 7-on-7 drill. Yeah. It's really, but I truly believe that, and I know people are on my heels, oh, Pat loves the 7th round running back because he was drafted in the 7th round. No, I love the 7th round running back because he has the best numbers of any running back in the Big Ten. I understand reasoning behind it.
Impact for less money.
I understand the reasoning behind it, right? Like Travion Henderson did not get the full slew of carries at Ohio State, neither did Quinshon Judkins. Both of them probably would be in Sebastian Genti range if they didn't play on the same team in the draft, Big Ten school, right? But Kyle Manungai ran for 1,200 yards, 666 carries in a row, did not fumble, is literally, I guess if you want to say great value, Ashton Genti, we could say that in theory.
Yeah, I agree.
In theory, we got Ashton Genti at home.
It is great.
He looks like
value.
he
Hey, he's the Aldi version.
I'll take the Aldi version. I love going to Aldi.
Aldi's great. Aldi's got some great stuff.
He's the Aldi's version of it.
Hey, listen.
Aldi's got better brands sometimes than a lot of the mainstream.
Oh, I go to Aldi for candles.
He may be the Hyundai Genesis.
I go to Aldi for candles. Bed Bath & Beyond
Benzo.
charges $25. Let me tell you right now, I like that vanilla
You
scent from
smooth
Aldi.
daddy, you. I
You
see
got
why
dang
got another
right.
Baby on the way.
There goes my baby.
Baby number 3 coming.
Not at all.
Look
Hey,
at
hey,
you.
we had a candle lit in the room last night. I was knocked out watching MASH. Tired. No, but Kyle Manungai is somebody that I'm really excited to see, especially early on, because what has been praised about him has been the work ethic, has been the the practice effort, has been the understanding of a playbook immediately. And listen, we can say the same thing about him that we can't say about Ashton Genty in one thing. They were stacking 8 in the box because nobody was worried about Rutgers passing the ball.
Right.
Passing
And
game
you
before.
still couldn't stop him.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, there were so many different aspects to his game that you love. The blocking ability. You saw him blow up a lot of linebackers. That's really what got me tingly is the additional things that he can bring to the game instead of just his running. So I'm excited.
I'm hoping that what we're doing is that the scouting department finally hits on some of these players. Like of course your first round picks, second round picks have to be contributors. But when you can get a bonus, if this guy ends up being a real contributor in the 7th round, if some of the undrafted free agents stick, even Ian Wheeler, if he becomes something. Because we whipped
for a reason.
Well, you whiffed on Velas, you whiffed on a couple of guys. We whiffed on the other defensive end. What was the defensive tackle we got after
Zach Pickens.
Zach Pickens.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I woke up the other day and I saw Pickens traded to Dallas, I was like, "Oh, Flus wanted his guy back. We got to trade." Oh, it was George.
But yeah, so I'm hoping that we see something out of. It would be nice that the scouting department is actually able to get players, and that the Bears are moving into the more modern NFL, getting players that fit the scheme, and we have a scheme that's identified, and so it'll be nice to get these guys year one contributing. And Colston Loveland. I mean, we didn't even mention him.
That's the big one. I mean, Colston Loveland, I think, is the main name that everybody's excited about coming into this draft. And the big thing about Colston Loveland right now is just, is he worthy of being selected above Tyler Warren? That's always going to be the name that he's attached with. I don't know if you find that. It's not I don't know. You don't find that out at rookie minicamp. Right, but what you can see is, okay, is the route running ability there? How is he off of the line? How is he going to be going up and getting the football, right? Again, it's rookie minicamp. The goal of this is to get guys familiar with the playbook, get them understanding. Like, there's not this big story that's coming out of it, even though everybody in the media will turn it into a big story. But the big thing for me right now with the Colston Loveland is the fact that you've got a young man in here that feels like he can be that 4th wide receiver on the field at every turn, and somebody who can be Caleb Williams' go-to weapon. That is exciting for me.
Yeah.
No, it is exciting. I that's another thing I want to see is if we're going to solidify just the amount of different options that the Bears are going to have going into the actual season. Are you going to lean heavily on Colston? Is he going to be in those talks where he could be Offensive Rookie of the Year? I don't know. But, I mean, that's one of the things I want to see is, utilizing him more and more during the season. I think he can be a special tight end. He has all of the makings to be one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm looking forward to it.
We'll see what ends up happening with all of that, man. Listen, the fact that we got Colston signed today, I think, is a big story as well. Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. We want to keep this thing moving along here as we get into the second topic. But, I mean, listen, you got 5 of your 6 rookies this season signed. Luther Burden is the one that does remain unsigned. But right now, Colston Loveland is the big name on this list. You got Colston Loveland signed 4 years. $26 million for Colston Loveland. Yeah. I think the fact that you got this done here before rookie minicamp shows the commitment to getting these guys in here and having that be their main focus. Now, does that speak to some of the question marks we had with Luther Burden? The fact that he's not signed, I don't know if I would say that. But all the guys signed here. 4th rounder Ruben Hippolyte has been signed. 5th rounder Zay Frazier. 6th rounder Luke Newman and 7th rounder Kyle Manungai have all signed 4-year contracts here. Colston Loveland has signed a $26.6 million fully guaranteed 5-year deal. Of course, the Bears can pick up that 5th-year option when we get to year 5. But it's good going into this. The couple that haven't signed, by the way, Luther Burden, Ozzie Trapilo, and Shamar Turner all remain unsigned. All second-round picks. All second-round picks, so it will be interesting to see.
I think the second-round pick is always a little bit of an issue because they don't know if they want to – they're trying to get – because they don't get the top-tier money, so they're always trying to figure in these little intricacies into their contracts.
All of the incentives.
Yeah. Right,
all the
incentives to make sure. So they always a little bit later signings.
Yeah.
My thought is that Luther Burden probably realize that I'm coming in here as a second-round pick. I'm about to be the third, if not the fourth option. So I'm trying to figure out my value. He said no one called him. He didn't know. He was surprised that the Bears took him because nobody really called him.
He shouldn't have been there.
He shouldn't have been there because they were probably trying to get the running back that they wanted. So it's like, all right.
We saw that news come out.
So Ben.
I didn't want to talk about that because they think I hate running backs in general. So the Bears were going to trade up to replace DeAndre Swift. You know how they go.
But probably in their mind is that, okay, we can pivot. We'll pivot to a point where, okay, we can add an extra receiver because he has the skill set. If it mirrors DJ Moore, it's like, all right, he can do that kind of, take a 3-yard deal and then run, what have you. So he's trying to figure out, I'm a first-round talent that dropped to the second.
Yeah.
And I should be. And so when he signs, then the other guys can sign because they're all second-round picks.
I know this is off topic, but let me ask you a question, though. Does now we have interchangeable 3 wide receivers that now actually all three top tiers they can actually go in each position and do everything just as well as so now this is now gives us so much flexibility that you don't know when they on the field what lineup they're going into. Yeah. So now the defense is going to have to adjust and almost put a very soft coverage out there because they don't know who's going to line up in the slot versus who's going to line up on the outside.
Well, that does
That's
depend.
what I
The
was,
one thing I will say that does depend on is if your run game is going.
But I think that was the
that
point.
Run game going.
I think the focus was like Ben's like, yo, no, we can make a slight adjustment to this because if we don't get the run back we want, we're still gonna have a running game.
Yeah.
And then you still took Manungai later in the 7th if he ends up hitting. But now you got an extra bonus receiver. You replaced Keenan Allen, but it's like we might be able to make some wrinkles in the system. So I just think that Luther's like, yeah, all right, I want to see this because I don't know how I'm going to really be used. And they're like, no, we're going to be able to use you properly.
Yeah, no, listen, I think the exciting part about getting all these guys signed, I do agree with you that it's probably going to be incentive-based on when Luther Burden and Ozzie and all of these guys sign. I think everybody's got different agents, so it's going to be a different conversation with all of them. But the big thing is that you for most of these guys, and especially for your 10th overall pick, you've got this out of the way. It's not something that you have to worry about. And I would assume, now I will say this, right? A lot will be said when I go to camp later. And if we don't see some of these guys there without the deals done, right? That is a question mark that is going to be on the table for these guys. And I do believe you can go with there's like an insurance in place, basically, that if you haven't signed your deal, you can get you can still go into camp and practice and stuff like that. Because technically you're not, I mean, if you get hurt day one of rookie minicamp, you ain't got no deal.
That's it.
So there is an insurance in place that does make that possible. I wonder if we're going to see all these guys. But Luther Burden and guys that are supposed to speak on, and Kyle Manungai, I believe they're speaking on Sunday at the podium. So I would assume that there's going to be a deal in place before then. So hopefully we see something soon here with the Bears signing these rookies.
I was just kind of like thinking about like in terms of your contract, what numbers do you expect? And so if I'm Luther Burden, it's like I don't know if I'm getting 1,000 yards, and you're going to basically give me a.
Well, DJ Moore didn't even get 1,000 yards. You're
no,
under.
What I'm saying is that if DJ is number one,
right.
you got Rome,
right? You
got Colston Loveland. So Colston's probably 700 yards receiving with so many touchdowns. You're probably going to get 1,500 yards out of DJ Moore. Rome's got to get 1,200. I'm just saying it could happen.
That'll be nuts. We get 1,500 yards out of DJ Moore.
Okay, fine, 1,200. But hold on. Let me finish my point. My point is that when I looked at one of the best, like the best team that scored was the Peyton Manning year in Denver, and so Demaryius Thomas had like 1,400 yards. Eric Decker had 1,200 yards. Wes Welker had 778 yards, and Julius Thomas had 788 yards. So like that parameter with Peyton throwing for, what did he throw for? He threw for
like 50+
5,000 yards.
Yeah.
The whole point is like, I'm not saying Caleb's doing this. I'm just saying that where the numbers fit for him to figure out how he's getting paid, because he's like, I'm going to be probably the third option.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. That's a barometer of what I'm thinking. And that's one of the top offenses. That's back in 2013.
I'll be honest with you. Can he take that?
No, that's
can he say that I'm going to be the third option? Because not with Colston Loveland on the team.
That's what I'm thinking.
Who just got $26 million. You got Cole Kmet, who's got 50. You got DJ Moore, who's got I forget what DJ's contract. 80? Is DJ 80? I think.
So
89 million. You got Rome over there, who's the 10th round or the 9th overall pick. Like, I don't know if Colston Loveland is the 4th option. And with that, that's a different situation because you got different. Everybody there's a vet.
I hear. All I'm saying is I'm talking about a benchmark.
Yeah, but he's a second round pick. He's probably getting $5 million.
All I'm saying is
$5
that
a year.
The whole point is that they're going to look at the metrics of what they think they can do in the season. And there's only so much that Caleb can throw the ball to, and he's a talented receiver who should be a first round talent now in the second round. So he's trying to figure that out because it's like I may only get 500 to 700 yards in my rookie year.
So no, I'm thinking 3,500 yards. Because you're looking at DJ getting 1,000, Rome getting 1,000. And you getting your back getting 500, and your 2 tight ends getting between 500 because they're gonna be more touchdown red zones. So you're looking at about 3,500 yards. That's to me an outlook on a spreading the ball around and using everybody not equally, but to their strengths. Because you're gonna use your tight ends more, especially Loveland in the jump ball in the red zone, and you're gonna use Rome and you're gonna use DJ,
all over the field.
to get down the field, and you're gonna use. You're losing Luther Burden potentially in the slot, when they start focusing more on the running game.
Right.
So, like I said, you're looking at a good Caleb year is about 3,700 yards, at least a minimum of 3,500 for it to be a good year.
Yeah.
I
mean, listen, you look at Jalen Polk last year, went similar range, 4-year, $9 million contract.
About a little over 2.
You're probably trying to get a little bit more than that if you're Luther Burden.
Maybe 3.
You're probably trying to get a 4-year,
yeah, that's a sweet spot.
$12 million deal where you're getting into the $3 to $4 million range.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a second round pick. Whether you should have been a second round pick, whether it's worth it for you to be a second round pick, the incentives are going to be a part of that contract. But with him, with Ozzie Trapilo, with Shamar Turner, they're second round picks. So
yeah,
you gonna get second round pick money.
Real quick.
That's called doing business.
You look up the 07 Patriots, who was like the second team.
Just outside do a shot range.
All right.
Well, Tom Brady threw for 4,800 yards. Wes Welker had 1,175.
Yeah.
Randy Moss had 1,493, almost 1,500. And then Dante Stallworth was 697. So, like, it looks like 1,400, 1,200, 7-ish in terms of those receiving yards. I'm just saying on the high end.
I mean, yeah, but you talk about two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever sling a football.
I'm talking about
high Caleb Williams become one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever sling a football.
I've never said that.
What
What I'm saying is if you –
to our next topic, though,
it kind of does, actually, yeah.
Well, we win
make
the
your
trade.
point. Make your point.
Well, my point is that for him, he's going to probably see that I'm slotted to do – on the high end, that's how high it could go. 700 for him as a third option would be great. He's not going to get 1,000 yards based on all these other players in position. That's all I'm getting at.
I get that. I just think that to compare, the broken wings of Bear Force One to
the broken wings
to
broken
two of the
wings.
greatest offenses of all time is a little bit of a stretch for me.
No,
right now.
I'm not. What I'm saying is that is the max you can do. I'm saying that he's not going to get 1,000 yards as a third option. Even in the best offenses of all time, the third option may get 700.
I think it's the fact that you keep saying he's the third option.
I think he's okay. I'm saying the third receiver.
He might be the fifth option.
I'm saying the third receiver.
I see what you're saying with
he
that.
might be the third receiver.
He is the third receiver.
Colson's going to get way more looks.
Colson's going to get more looks. I think Cole is going to be the end zone threat.
Yeah.
I think Rome and DJ are going to be your two wide receivers. Luther's going to be the guy out of the slot.
Yeah.
There's only so much to go around.
Now, what I will say on top of all of that, though, is Luther's the guy that Ben Johnson drafted.
Right.
He is.
So out of everybody else, Colston and Luther are the two dudes that Ben Johnson drafted.
I trust he'll find a way to make it work. Make it all work.
That's the hope. That's the hope, man. All right, let's keep this thing moving along, man. We're going to finish it out with this. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Is now the Panthers trade with the Chicago Bears is fully paid off. It is done. It is over with, ladies and gentlemen. And we got some players, dare I say. You got Caleb Williams. You got Darnell Wright.
Oh, sorry.
That was the wrong one there. Hold on now.
Misfire there.
You got a DJ Moore in there. Is that a DJ Moore in there? You got a Luther Burden in there. And who am I missing?
No. Tyreek Stevenson.
Tyree Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen. 4.
Could have sworn there was somebody else, but all right.
Was there a punter that might have been a part? No, it wasn't. He was a part of the Eagles trade, you bastard. But with all of that, the Panthers got Bryce Young. And the question that I have is, can we definitively say the Chicago Bears won this trade? Can you definitively say it?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Like, what are we talking about?
Here's the reason that I asked.
He just want to talk.
Here is the reason that I asked. Who's the player up there that puts us over the top?
The
For the Bears
quarterback,
right now.
quick.
That's the hope. I'm saying, can we definitively say now that we've won?
1v1.
Clint Eastwood?
We cannot.
Yes.
No, absolutely.
Clint
Yes,
Eastwood.
you can.
Okay.
We got to start. We got to start and tackle.
Take 4 of these
a
guys
number
out.
2 corner.
Let's do quarterback versus quarterback.
The receiver's good enough.
Quarterback versus quarterback. Caleb, even though Bryce has had a decent start to, or rather, a return after
Good
he had
finish.
he had to get benched.
Yep.
You saw Andy Dalton come in for him, kind of show him the ropes. Then he got his job back, and he ended out the season very good. That hasn't happened with Caleb. Caleb has been through a lot this past year in this rookie season, and yet he still put up really, really good numbers. You just go 1v1 with that, Caleb's the winner. That's what I look at, quarterback versus quarterback. Who's going to be potentially the better quarterback? Caleb Williams by a long shot. Then you got a really good protector in Darnell Wright, who most times he had a really, more than not, he had a really
He was
good
alone
season.
on that line a lot.
More than not.
Yeah.
DJ Moore, still got to get him acclimated, but you know what he does as the wide receiver one. Luther Burden, who we just talked about, is extremely talented. And then, of course, Tariq Stevenson, if he gets his head on straight, can be a really good cornerback too.
And that's
What are we
why
talking
that's why I said that.
Who you crap?
There's a lot of ifs in your statement.
Yeah.
You said a lot of if in that.
You're trying
It's
to
a fifth
He's
without
just trying
drunk.
to.
You know what I mean? You
If
said
it's
a
a
lot of
fifth,
if in that.
dilly-dilly.
Here's the reality of what we're looking at right now. DJ Moore and Caleb Williams were not on the same page last
They
season.
weren't.
Now, bad play caller, all of that. I understand all of that.
That's right.
But it seems like a lot of people are trying to say, Bears won. GG's. And all I'm saying is,
You built the whole team.
all I'm saying is, can we say everybody's set with a new regime in here? DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, not on the same page. You just drafted Luther Burden. I'm not saying the Bears are going to trade DJ Moore away. I don't believe that they will. But Luther Burden, very similar to DJ Moore.
Okay.
So is DJ Moore a piece that's guaranteed to be here for the next 5 years?
Better be.
As it stands
We
right now,
can say that.
Going into
But
this
is he?
season,
We don't
going
know.
into this season,
don't
I'm
know.
happy with
Going
my,
into this season, he's
I'm
here.
happy
But
with
even
my
if you-
starting right
even if
tackle.
you X
I'm
him
happy
out,
with my second.
Don't take this as
I don't know.
no. Don't take this as I'm not happy. I love that. I think Tyree Stevenson is better than people are giving him credit for.
I love
Absolutely,
Tyree.
I do
We got
agree that he
Yeah,
has
you've
starting
been
corner.
hating on Tyree.
I don't
We got
like his
starting right
mental-
tackle.
mental acumen right now. I think he needs to be a little bit more focused on the field. That's what I don't like about Tyreek.
But
I
the
think
coach
he
is gonna
plays
fix
around
that.
too much. Coach better fix that because we got the right people in the building. We got Al Harris who's going to slap him beside his head. My thing is, even if we lose out, let's just say DJ Moore happens to get traded next year or the 2 years down the road, we still win this trade.
Technically, you get picks back, so I guess
That's
you could
only-
win that
that's
trade.
Only, honestly, that's only if Caleb performs better than Bryce Young.
Well, if
He
Caleb,
already has.
if
He-
Caleb,
but he has
if
not.
Caleb performs
Technically, has
better,
not. Technically, he has
What are you talking
not.
about? Technically, is
Technically,
not.
he has not
How?
lived up to expectations.
Bryce didn't at all.
Bryce has
He
now
got
towards the end,
benched.
His
towards
rookie
the
year
end of
was
towards the
trash.
end of his toward the end of his last season.
His second
he
year.
he showed a lot, and he
Second
showed
year.
that he's going to
in
be
his second year, yeah.
right.
Yes.
His second year, right? That's what I said.
But compare
what
rookie.
happened in
No,
his first
that's
year,
why I
though?
said not yet.
Yeah,
So
but
that's why I said
win
not
that
yet.
game don't matter though.
But compare rookie to rookie though. Bryce Young did not have a good rookie. Neither.
He
I mean,
got
technically,
benched.
but Caleb already set rookie records for the Bears, which was, by the way, a
Yes.
bar.
You can't take
But
that.
he still
you can't
threw for
take that.
35 yards.
You got to take that with a grain of salt. You got to take breaking the Bears
No.
rookie record as a grain of salt.
No, it's not.
You-
We
it
had
is.
Trubisky. We had Justin
Garbage.
Fields.
Garbage.
Right. He had nothing. A Swiss whole cheese. A
He
Swiss
had
whole
about
cheese
the same.
line.
He had
A
about
Swiss
the
cheese
same
hole.
as the
That's
rest.
what I meant. Cheese whole line.
Swiss whole
for-
cheese is a very,
yeah.
very different
whole
conversation.
So that's why. That's why I said not. That's why I said not yet. He is on the cusp
Oh, the
of
cuss.
the cusp
I like that
of
word, but I don't
outplaying
like it.
outperforming Bryce, but he hasn't done it just yet. We've
I
seen
disagree,
flashes of
man.
potential.
I
So what
disagree.
happens? So what happens if Caleb takes miraculously? Not saying he's going to do that. What happens if he
a
takes
step back?
sacks and sacks and sacks again, and he has not learned from his rookie year? Then are we still saying he's better than Bryce? No. So that's why I say he on the
So you
cusp.
saying
Not
if
yet.
he gets 80 sacks this year,
He's not.
behind the protect? You saying that Bryce is better than him just because the line can't protect him?
The line is a whole lot.
That's on the
better.
line. That's
No,
not
it's
on the quarterback.
That's not. A lot of Caleb sacks last year was
No, not a lot.
A lot.
19.
Not a lot.
19.
19 of them.
That's a
19.
lot.
That out of
That's a lot.
68.
Yeah, that's still a lot of sacks
That's
on the
still a lot of
offensive
That's
line.
a lot, but not
still a lot of
the
sacks.
majority.
That's a lot of sacks on the offensive
Not
line.
the
yeah.
majority is
That's
what
a
I
lot of-
mean.
Right. So if he does the same deal again where he's taking all of these sacks because he's holding onto the ball, then he definitely comes into question: is he better than Bryce Young?
No, but we had bad pass protection
Yeah,
on top of that.
he had bad practice. Here's
And he's
what-
a rookie still
So
trying to
Bryce
figure the game
Young from week 8 to week 17 threw for 2,400 yards, 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
Great.
In the entire season, Caleb Williams threw for 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Exactly.
My G, that's
That's
a lot.
That's his second year, though.
From 8 to 17.
But you're
You're
comparing a rookie
quarterback
to the second
year 2
year.
quarterback.
no, what I'm
That's why I said
what-
not
what-
yet. That's
no,
why I
no.
said not
No,
yet.
what I'm saying
No,
is that
you're having
he's
the
better.
you're having the conversation saying, "Oh, well, I'm saying Caleb Williams is bad." No, what I'm saying is, people are saying this is in the books. That's a heck of a second half of a season.
Man, where's
On
the
a
book
second
at?
year.
I need to close it because this is
That's
done.
a heck of a second half of the season.
Yeah,
That's
but
great.
it should click, and that's what we want with Caleb.
Yes,
Except we
but-
don't want to. Hopefully,
But it should click. And by the way, he was benched in the time where the offensive line was playing at their worst. The offensive line played their best.
Andy Dalton
offensive
started
line
for a
played their
couple
best games when Andy Dalton got in, and the
True.
offensive line started to figure things out. When he came back in, Bryce looked better. I'm not saying that I'm not happy with what we have. I think we are in a great
No, you're not.
situation.
No.
But can we say that the book is closed on just quarterback to quarterback? Now, if you want to say for the entire haul, maybe I can go there, but I do have questions on. We got questions on Tyree Stevenson. Is Tyree Stevenson? We can say out here's get his hand on him. He gonna slap him into shape. What if Tyree Stevenson slap back and they say we don't want you?
Let him go. We got Terrell Smith.
That's cool.
no, you keep
But
drafting.
what I'm saying
What you're saying
is
that
what I'm
that
saying is
contributes
he's a
to him
part of
losing
this.
part of the draft.
Right?
I got you.
Darnell Wright, I think has more upside than what we're saying.
You know what? You know why we win this trade? Because we got more bites at the apple of getting it wrong and still being better than the one guy that they got to lean on for the whole entire franchise.
Tell him, Jordan.
The whole entire franchise.
What
They
are we
got
talking
5
about?
people.
Listen,
5-to-1 ratio.
We're talking about the development. It comes down to the
We
development.
won the trade.
We didn't win the trade just yet.
We did.
We know we didn't win
How
it
many,
just yet.
how many starters are over there on our team?
But if they don't,
No, I'm
lead us-
asking a question.
if they
How
don't-
many starters
we
are
have
actually
right
four?
now? We
Say
have
1, 2,
four.
3.
We have four starters.
Yeah, 4.
If
We have
not
4
five.
starters.
The rookie that didn't even
We have
play
4
yet is
starters.
not the
He's
only
going to
one.
be.
he's
Burton
not.
is going
We
to be
don't-
starting.
We don't know if he's starting yet. We're just talking
he
right
might
now.
not be
4
starting.
starters.
He's going to be
Four-
starting as
four
a slot
starters.
receiver.
4
starters.
starters.
I
Four
see 5
starters.
starters
and
up there.
4 starters.
To
And
one.
we ended
I
up.
mean,
we-
you could just
and we
give him
ended
the
up with-
job,
We
but-
ended up
but-
with the same record as the one guy.
Yeah, but I challenge you to look at how many first round, how many second
That's why I
round,
said yet.
first round.
That's why I said not yet though.
My
So we're
point is
going
that
off the
how many
record.
guys have already
No,
flopped?
we talking about in totality.
But my
That's why I
point is-
said it's inconclusive just yet.
It's not inconclusive.
It's
for
inclusive.
me, yeah.
Yes, they're already
it's
starting.
inconclusive just yet.
No, because they're already
Yeah,
starting.
but so's Bryce Young.
Right, he's starting, and they got the
I'm
same
not
record.
saying-
If they're starting
The
as
whole
the
point
metric,
is-
so's Bryce Young.
Nobody said he's not.
Who
I
was
didn't
close-
say he's
who
a
was
bust or
closer
anything
to the
like
playoffs
that.
last
The point
year?
is that quarterback who's been average to a degree because
Yes.
the Panthers believed in him to be the franchise guy.
Yes.
He threw for 2,400 yards his rookie year. He was average, and then he got beat up. And now out of that trade, we have not 1, but 2, but 3, 4, and potentially 5 starters because a lot of these guys may not even hit that or first. We had Kevin White. He didn't even make the squad barely. You know what I'm saying?
We
We've
made the
had
squad.
What I'm saying is he didn't even have a career. You can miss on a lot of guys, and we had out of that trade, all of those guys have hit. We won the trade. The fact that they're even on the team contributing. We have a starting cornerback,
Yeah, I'm
a
sorry,
starting
Doc.
right
This is a
tackle,
moot point
a
to me.
starting quarterback, and then we got a starting receiver out of that trade, and then we potentially have a starting slot guy. We won the trade.
a moot point to me.
I think. By the way, I want to update this. I said. You can give it to yourself.
Yeah, right.
I said.
I was cooking.
By the way, I said.
Jose Pack, give him the womp because he
No,
gave him his own.
I'm not gonna give him the 1-1-1. I said 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. For some reason, at first it gave me the full season. What he finished the season with was 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in 8 games in his final 8 games, and I mean, there's not a lot of wins, but Carolina was also cheap, so there's not a lot of wins for Caleb Williams.
I got one spot to refute Joe. So you said we have one. The Panthers have one starter, right?
Correct.
And we have 4.
5.
We have 4.
I'm saying
Currently
5.
we have 4.
Currently we have 4.
Give him the 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't just give him a starting
Right.
spot.
So
Is he a
what
slot guy?
was the
Olamide
Bears?
Zaccheaus is too and had 800 yards.
What
last
was the
season.
Bears' record last year?
5-12.
What was the Panthers' record last year?
Close to the same thing, wasn't it?
Exactly the same thing, 5-12. So just because we have 3 more starters than they have, did not automatically make us win the trade.
Drew, that doesn't make sense.
Because it does.
No, it doesn't.
It does because we had 3 extra starters and ended up with the same record.
Drew,
so
we
the trade is
literally-
inconclusive to me.
Drew,
That's
we
all my
literally
point
had a
was.
coach that didn't know how to call timeouts.
So did he.
We had an offensive coordinator that didn't even coach our quarterback.
he.
So my point is that, right, it's even. But
So
guess
it's
what? It's
inconclusive.
1 to 4.
So everything
You
is
don't even count the other guy, but
everything is the same. So it's inconclusive.
But the Panthers have 4 less starters that they didn't hit. We got more guys to start than
we got
we
more
had to
guys
build
that
our
hit
team.
and ended up with the same record.
No, it's not. The point is that we won the trade. We have more guys that are actually playing.
I mean, listen,
I do agree with that.
he has
point.
less to start. He has less to deal with than we do.
that's the reason that I wanted to have it. He did get Xavier Leggetti. I mean, he got some nice pieces on that team. He's got more now. Like, it's not from this.
But I guarantee you, he would have liked to get 3 more guys if they could hit on.
No, a 1 to 5 is a great ratio to have on this trade, and that's why the Bears made the trade. That's why you traded the number 1 overall pick. And I'm happy with Caleb Williams. I think he will be better than Bryce Young. My point is, there's a lot of pieces on this team that are on this team right now that I don't know if they're going to be on this team 2 years from now. If you're having that conversation, you may be in a situation where you can't close the book on this trade. If they trade DJ Moore next season, if they get rid of Tyreek Stevenson next season,
I wouldn't care.
I still.
Right now, the trade's over.
I
It's
get
done.
I get what you're saying. I wouldn't care. But then you have to go back and be like, well, DJ Moore didn't really pan out for you. Okay, we got to take that out. Well, Tyree Stevenson, you didn't keep him around. He didn't even get to a second contract. You got to take that out. Are they going to extend Darnell Wright?
I don't think that matters.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Players being on the team from the trade
What I'm
matter.
saying is, at face value of what it is, it's those picks and what have you. They hit on. So did they hit on these picks or not?
I mean,
Not
Tyreek
yet.
is
not yet
Tyreek
because we still have the
is
same
Tyreek
record
a
of
hit?
5-12. Not
Is Tyreek
yet.
a hit?
Not yet.
You
because-
wanted him off the team.
I did.
Is Tyreek a hit? You can't change it
I
now.
don't
No, I'm
want
not
him
saying
on
that. Has any of these players been replaced or benched as
Tyreek
starters?
Stevenson has been benched.
That was for the 1 half to
And then
Is he the
in
starting
both
quarterback?
seasons, in the second half of the year, him and Terrell Smith was playing more snaps than Tyreek.
but he wasn't technically benched for Terrell. It was
No,
like
he
one of
got to
those-
run out in the starting lineup, and then Terrell Smith got more snaps in the game in certain matchups.
All I'm saying is
The
go
Bears
Bears.
want to trade.
I mean, listen, I love it. I'm glad that we got it. I'm just saying I'm not ready to close the book on it.
I'm closing it.
I'm done.
Y'all can
You
close
You
it.
can talk about it later. It
It's
doesn't
2
matter.
against 2. It's 2 against 2. I
Hey,
think it's
we'll see
inconclusive.
what it is in 2 years.
Hey, in the chat,
That's
what are your views?
That is insane. to me.
Really?
I
That you can't close the
I'm not
book
gonna
on it?
hold- because it's
I'm just
over.
strictly basing it off of the rookie year. Like
off of the rookie year.
Bryce couldn't even finish his rookie year without being benched. He was so bad. Caleb
Well, he
had
finished his
3
rookie year. He didn't get benched his
offensive-
rookie year.
He had 3. How many? 3 offensive.
3 OCs.
3 OCs.
Yeah.
And 2 head coaches.
Yeah.
And still threw for
And
35
still
yards.
kept his
and had
job,
more yards
still
than
had
Bryce Young did
3,500
either way.
yards, still had a very good interception to touchdown ratio.
70%.
Put his team in a
right?
position to win most times, but the blunders weren't because of him. It was because of his coach. And as you mentioned, as we always say, bad timeout,
Yeah, 100%.
bad time management, bad coaching,
There's wins that definitely take
block
it to-
field
coaching
goal.
malpractice, like all of that. And I understand Bryce had the same thing in Carolina, but they're not on the same level. Even if Bryce did take a tick up and learn, that's what you're supposed to do in year 2. You're supposed to say, okay, well, I kind of get how this looks now. NFL speed slowing down a little bit. I got some more new pieces. Let me look a little bit better. Sure, he improved. Great. Caleb? You expect Caleb to have a Bryce type of season in year 2? I expect Caleb to take off.
I mean, I hear you.
Case
and
closed.
if Caleb does take off, it's case closed.
Case dang closed.
We ain't in the season yet.
That's what I said. That's what I said. It's potential. You have to wait to after this second year to see if it was growth.
We'll
for
see
you
what
to
happens,
say.
man. We'll see what happens. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. I'm just saying I'm not happy. I'm very happy. I love the fact that we got the 5. I'm just not slamming the books yet. Y'all Judge Judy out here. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As always, for the super producer, Joel Holt, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC.
Yep.
Of course, Mr. Drew Better. If you knew better, you do better. Say, who better? Nobody, bro. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. Is the trade over?
Over.
Is it over? I mean, technically, it is over.
It's over.
And we got all of it. It is technically over.
Who won?
But who won the trade? Is the book closed or
So
who won the
Bryce
trade?
Young would need to throw for 6,000 yards for this trade to
30
be.
touchdowns.
He has to be the next Patrick Mahomes for that trade for him to win. He has to be the franchise.
Ain't it Leggett and Ted McMillan down there?
It is.
Hey,
I'm just saying he'd have to be
dog.
the second.
Well,
He'd
that's
have to be
dog.
the
He
face
has
of
no
the league.
excuse.
Hey,
This year.
ain't there a princely Umani Meliuna
Yeah,
and a Nick Scorton and a Pat Jones the second
Yeah, you're right.
coming on? I'm just saying.
So that means he has no more excuses. Basically.
100%. No, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And his offensive line jailed already. So you better hit the ground running. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm closing that book.